Welcome to Student Spotlight, a presentation of College Success Arizona. This program features the hardworking college students who have earned scholarships from College Success Arizona and are pursuing their educational goals and career passions. Today on Student Spotlight, we interview Ronnesha Claiborne.
I was born in Dallas, Texas. I was born and raised there. I moved here a couple of years ago to live with my father so that I can kind of restart and go back to school after I left from the Art Institute of Dallas, where I was going for 2 years right after high school.
And where did you graduate high school in Dallas?
I actually went to a school out of my school district. I went to Red Oak ISD, which is in Red Oak, Texas.
And now, currently, you're attending Glendale Community College?
Yes, that's correct.
And you finished your first year?
Yes, this is actually coming up on my third year, actually.
Gotcha. So you're starting your third year, and what is your course of study?
It's general business.
And what are you hoping to do so far as a long-term career?
Well, I'm trying to get my associates in general business, and then afterwards I plan on attending ASU to get my bachelor's in global studies. I recently just returned from a trip about a month ago from Australia. It was for business students, but there were also other students from other majors as well, and it kind of gave a global, international outlook on the world from a business perspective. And so long term, I guess maybe working in a foreign country and working over there in the business area.
So maybe you'd want to live in Australia? Did you like it there?
I loved it there, actually.
Like Melbourne or Sydney?
It was both.
So it's all right on the water. Those are like a couple of big Los Angeles type cities, huh?
Yes.
Excellent. So you're going to hopefully get into ASU and graduate, what, about 3 years from now, maybe?
Actually, probably around a year, because most of the credits require the general education courses, and I already have them with my associate's degree, and they'll just transfer over. So really all I have left are the upper division courses, and that's it.
And what is your current age?
I'm 23.
And the transition from Dallas, a big city, to Phoenix, a big city, Texas, a big state, Arizona, a smaller state, but still a relatively big state. What was that like?
Well, I'm a city girl, so I already have this kind of general idea of what Arizona looked like, or what I thought it was like, which was the desert. So coming out here where there was the only landscape I saw was like dirt and cactuses, it was definitely a change because I lived right up the street from downtown Dallas, and I'm used to just seeing buildings and everything everywhere, and here I just kind of saw a lot of nothing.
Yeah, you can see a lot. You can see a long way in the desert, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
Are you liking it?
It's okay. I'm not liking this weather, but I'm kind of getting used to it.
And you are assisted, or you are part of the Excel program. Basically, what happens is Excel has partnered with College Success Arizona, so they provide a mentor, a success advisor. In your case, it's Matt Sotelo. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's correct.
Can you talk about Matt's role in your life, how he's sort of provided some guidance in college?
Yes. Every semester they want us to meet at least twice, but required once. And we just kind of update them on what's going on with school, life, everything. They're there to help us out with scholarships, applying for different colleges, helping us just make the next step, whatever it is that we're trying to do. And he guides us, whatever it is that we're trying to do. He helps us out as best as possible. And, of course, whenever you just want to vent about just stuff that's just going on, they're there for that, too.
And I understand that you live on your own and you also work an overnight shift to help support yourself?
Yes, I just recently, May 30th, just finally lived on my own. And, yes, I actually just switched from my overnight shift to second shift this week. So I'm actually no longer on the overnight shift, and I've been on that shift for the past year and 9 months, but I'm finally on day shift now.
You're working all night and going to school during the day?
Yes, but my classes now are going to be online, but my work schedule was the last half of the week, and my school schedule was the first half of the week, so it was really only one day where it might coincide with me going to my class right after I got off work.
Were you able to adjust your sleep schedule? I worked overnights a few years ago for about 2 years at a news service, broadcast news service, and that was really a tough adjustment, first to adjust to the overnights, and then when I went back to days to go back to days, because it really changes your life.
It does.
It sounds like it's getting... Go ahead.
Well, when I first started, I was working an inventory job before I started that job. So I was kind of already used to working nights, but it was in a regular schedule. So I would actually work at all hours of the day and night. So I was kind of already used to it, but we worked 2 hours longer than the day shift. So we worked 10 hours from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. and I worked weekends. So it was really kind of hard to just go out and do anything that was happening on the weekends because I worked and I slept during the day, and those events took place at night, and I just couldn't go to them because I was trying to sleep all the time. And it also made it kind of hard to go to the required events for the Excel program because I would have to disturb my sleep to go to them.
And you mentioned earlier that you attended a couple of years at an art institute in Dallas. Do I take that to mean that you initially wanted to work in the arts or be an artist or graphic designer or something like that?
Yes, I was in the fashion design major, and that's what I was kind of trying to do. I didn't really have a whole lot of guidance, really, to college or anything. I have a twin sister, and we were the first to really go to college from our family. So we didn't really, and my mother didn't attend college, so we didn't really have any guidance in that area. And so I just didn't really know what I wanted to do, didn't know where my options were. So I just kind of picked something that I liked. And it just with the environment that I lived in and my living situation, it just made it really hard. And eventually I withdrew because it just became too much for me. So I just wanted to kind of restart everything, and that's when my father offered for me to come here if I wanted to, and that's why I came here.
Outstanding. And for high school students who may be considering their own college options and opportunities, can you offer some advice?
Yes, I would say as soon as probably you get into high school, try to figure out what it is that you want to do. Utilize resources at your school, like a guidance counselor. Try to figure out what it is that you want to do early so you don't end up like me senior year, not really knowing where you want to go or what you want to do, and just try to reach out and ask parents, friends, aunts, anybody who can kind of help guide you through that process.
And now that you're here in Arizona attending Glendale Community College and you have Matt Sotelo as your advisor, is that helpful? Because you talk about that earlier experience, really having no guidance, not having an advisor, being a first-generation student, and we hear that a lot from the first-gen students. They don't have any experience to call on from their parents who didn't go to college, so they're sort of out there on their own, and they say that the advisors are just a critical component to their overall success. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it does. I'm here by myself. All my family is in Texas, so it's just me here. And so I'm used to basically kind of being by myself and handling everything on my own. So it's really nice to know that if something happens or if it's just something I want to talk about, I have people here that I can actually physically go to talk to and ask for help, and people who can actually help me with whatever it is that I need, and I'm not actually really alone in what I'm doing.
And what has been the best part of college in Arizona so far?
Probably the flexibility of the classes, I would say. I haven't really been active in any extracurricular activities, so I haven't really gotten that whole full experience because I didn't have a choice but to work. Living here, that's actually one of the prerequisites for me being able to live here with my father. He wouldn't let me just go and not work, so I didn't really have an active social life. So I say really the flexible classes, because I like to take the online classes if I can and take advantage of those, so that way I don't have to actually get up and go out and attend, especially if it's really hot and the weather is kind of crazy. I can just, as long as I have an internet connection at home, I can just fire up my laptop and just work on whatever I need to do at home.
I hear a number of students, I've done about 100 of these interviews, and every time I hear a student going for that business degree from ASU, especially with the global studies aspect and this becoming such a global sort of economy, that sounds like it could open a lot of doors in a lot of different areas for you.
I hope so, because that's one thing I just really know that I really want to do. I just know fashion design really wasn't what I really just wanted to do. It was just kind of some spur of the moment type of thing, but something I always really wanted to do was just something with language and culture. That's just my biggest thing. I just love language and I love culture. Where I work, mostly everyone is Hispanic and they all speak Spanish, so I've learned Spanish from being there, and I love Japanese and Korean culture. And plus, with the program that we attended in Australia, we got to tour a lot of businesses. We toured 3M. We went to the Sydney Opera House, the Taronga Zoo. So we managed to make a lot of connections just throughout the program and then with each other also. So that definitely helped out a lot.
Thank you, Ronnesha, for the interview and for working so hard to make a difference in our community.